everybody, it's Cara Marshall here from Cara, your soul friend. I'm here today to do a video blog on how to use Oracle cards. So many of us have bought them and maybe not have used them, or have heard of it and not known what to do with your cards. So the very first deck of cards that I bought were Healing with the Angels by Doreen Virtue. And those are the cards that I use on a regular basis for my clients, for my weekly readings, my monthly readings here on YouTube. They're kind of my go-to deck, but I own, sad to say, I probably own more than 50 decks of cards. I absolutely love using them. I use them for daily guidance. I use them for clarity around situations, around relationships, around work, so many different things. And I use different cards for different purposes. So I just wanted to show you a small sample of some different kinds of cards. You know, we can get cards from people that have made these decks that are local to us, which is kind of cool. You know, you don't have to just go on to Amazon or Hay House or wherever to find these cards. You can actually get local artists and readers that create their own cards. So some of the local ones that I use are Wild Women. She is from BC. And I have a deck of Fae, cards of Fae, and she is also from BC. And I have a deck of Goddess cards, and she is actually from here, Longview, Alberta. Now, some of the other cards that I just wanted to pull out is that you can have so many different. You can see that these are wild women, fairies, goddesses, but I also have, these are energy cards, and I have for when I want to do my things to do with Mother Earth, and I'm a shaman, so I really connect with the elements, and these are native spirit cards. They're beautiful messages. Another deck of fairy cards. Doreen Virtue has, oh my goodness, I wouldn't even know, maybe 100 decks of cards that you could purchase. She has so many different to choose from. And I also have a children's deck. I have a couple children's decks, but this is one of them. This is an easy one for kids that are 6 and under, or 6 and over, sorry. Because they can read it and the messages inside reflect what is relevant to children, you know, school and parents and friends and those sort of things. So let's just get started. So if you got a deck of cards, what you would do is you would open your deck and you will generally find, you know, a bunch of cards, but you would also typically, there are decks that don't have these, but typically you will also find a book that goes with it. So what I suggest is to first go through your cards. I like to go through them and look at the imagery and the words that go with it. Some cards have just imagery and some have words that go with the imagery. In this one here, it has just a, you know, just a keyword. There are cards that have a full message and there are ones that simply are imagery. And if they are imagery, a lot of times they come with a deck, a book to help explain the messages. So I go through that with truth and ideas and inspiration, dreams, divine timing. You know, they all have messages, and I just kind of look at the image and see what it is for me. Just connect. It's nice to really connect with your cards so that they are in your energy, because it's you that's doing the reading. So what I like to do is do that first, and then in your little book, in the very beginning, most of these books actually tell you instructions for working with the cards. So you can read those and go through. If it doesn't resonate with you in how they're instructing you to connect with them, do it your way. There's no right or wrong with using these cards. And so, you know, this one says relax and center and how to do it. You know, close your eyes and take 1 or more deep breaths, you know, different things. Take the deck of cards in your hand, connect with your angels, ask your question, and then you lay out the cards. But they also tell you how to interpret the cards, looking at the card's context, you know, so many different things. They also give you ways of doing the cards. So in this one here, they write out how to do a 1-card reading, a 3-card reading, and a 1-year spread. So I just want to show you a deck of cards that has a book that shows layouts. So this one is Path of the Soul. Now this is a sample of cards that only have imagery. There's no writing on any of these cards. They're pure imagery. And they're absolutely stunning. I love these. These are Path of the Soul. They're so great. But I wanted to show you how they show you different kinds of spreads, and they tell you how to lay them out when you're pulling your cards, like 1, 2, 3, and what each card means. So that one is the soul path. Then there's an upcoming spread, this one here. And then there's the 3-card guidance spread. So they're just showing you how to lay out the cards and what each one means. So, you know, upcoming spread, the first card is current state of being, outside influences, spiritual influences, most possible outcome at the present time. Out of all 4 cards, that's what you're going to receive. So I just wanted to show you that the books do assist you in the reading. So what I like to do is, for myself, the best way to start using your cards is maybe to do it as a daily divine guidance. I find that an easy way to connect with your cards, to start receiving validation, start receiving information from your guides, whether it's angels, fairies, goddesses, whatever it is for you. Just connect with that. So pick a deck of cards that resonates, whether it's animals, whether it's the directions, whether it's mermaids. There's so many cats. There's so many different ways of cards that you can find. So just find a deck that connects. Start to shuffle your cards to put energy into them. And as you shuffle your cards, then you have that energy in there. What I suggest to do is to lay out your cards. So I'm just going to show you here quick. I'm going to fan them out in front of me. And I'm just going to have to move the camera so that you can see what I'm doing. So 1 second. As you can see, I've fanned out the cards in front of me. And what I suggest for people to do is to take their left hand, because your left hand is your receiving hand, your right hand is your giving hand. So you take your left hand and you start to take your hand and just kind of slightly go over top of the cards, slowly feeling out the energy in the cards. And as you go over them, you may feel areas of heat, you may feel areas where it's cold, and you might even feel like this draw, like it's like, no, I need to go back here. And if you do, then you would drop down and pick the one that's showing up for you. So I would pick that and flip it over. So I've just kind of flipped it. Or you could just kind of feel and just scan over the cards, and it's like, oh no, it's this one, right? And so you just kind of feel. If this is not working for you, where you're not feeling anything, then what I suggest to do is take your hand and just look at the cards, and as soon as you connect with those cards, it's like the first card that takes your attention. So 1 second. So I would just open my eyes, and the very first set of card I see is this one. So I would pick it up, okay? So that's how you can pull your cards. So I'm just gonna shuffle my cards, and if I shuffle, sometimes I shuffle my cards and don't spread them out. I just keep shuffling until a card presents itself as to the message of my daily guidance. And how that presents itself, see that one flipped over. So the message for me would be divine guidance, which makes sense because I'm doing a video. I was guided to do a video blog on how to use cards. So that would be my message. But also sometimes you get cards that flip like that one almost flipped and I just didn't catch it. Well, that one stood out. So I would pick that card as well, which is friendship. Which doesn't surprise me because this week the message was about connections and support and friendship. So those are ways that you can pick your cards. Another way is to just, sometimes I get kids to do this, and I just kind of spread my cards in a big pile. As you can see that I've kind of made a big pile. And I just ask them again to use their left hand and feel out a card for a message. And that one was Archangel Michael. So those are ways that you can spread out your cards to pull a card. I'm just gonna stop for a second and bring it back 1 sec. So now that you have your card, I'm just gonna shuffle now and just grab another card here to use for the reading. And again, another way is to just fan them out in your hand and feel for which one is calling you, and just trust that whatever card comes is your message. So funny, when I did that, I pulled one out and one fell out. So my message was signs and children. So my daily message would be to do with signs. Now, I can connect first. What does signs mean for me? So for me, signs mean messages like numbers, animals, songs, music, feathers, different things, that everything has a message. The signs, the colors, everything has a message. And so when I want to know what that is, what's so great about technology is that when you're looking for signs, you can just go spiritual meaning of housefly. Because there's a housefly right on my card right now. So you could look that up. Or spiritual meaning of 1111 from a time that you might see every day, or 555, but just write spiritual meaning or spiritual meaning of the color red. And just look up those messages on your internet and you'll get your message and it'll help that way. So that's one way of using it, is just kind of getting your card. I also did another card fell out, which was children, which is the signs. So really pay attention to the inner child in me and the children around me, that sort of thing for my messages. However, let's just go to the signs. So what you would do is, if you pull a card, you would go into your book, because in your book, every card has a message. So this one's in alphabetical order, so I'm just gonna go to signs. And what it says is it gives a card meaning. So it's pay careful attention to the messages the angels give you now. You have asked for a sign and they deliver it. Notice and trust these signs. So it's like, okay, there's my message, but then there's more. If that doesn't really even make sense to you, you can read more or just leave it right there. So you can go, you've asked for heaven to help you. Now it's up to you to pay attention to the evidence of their help. This card signifies that your angels are trying to get your attention with signs. There's more written here. There's a couple paragraphs as to what the signs are. But when you're reading this, what I suggest to people, because people will say that they come and they can get readings by me, but when they go to do their own, they find it difficult to get that same message for themselves. So the first thing you need to do is just really trust the messages that you're receiving, what you're reading, that is a message. It's not you just reading the card. It's a message for you. See, there's that fly. And so when you're reading it, what I tell people is, like, when you read a magazine article, and let's say it's a page long, and maybe you have 3 other people reading it. And when you read that article, at the end, when somebody asks you, what was that article about? You're gonna say you're gonna give one kind of summary as to what that is. But I'll bet you the 3 other people that read it, they may not have even noticed what you noticed in that article. One thing might have stood out for you, but for those other 3 people, it might have been something different. That's the same when you're reading your cards. That is your message. You don't have to try to figure it out or go really deep or read between the lines. It's whatever your intuitive, and I want to say your mind kind of, is telling you, but you'll usually feel it in your gut, in your throat, you feel it in your chakras, and that kind of gives you an indication of truth. And so what you do is just take the basic of that message, whatever is first coming to you when you're reading this. That is your message, and play with that for the day. See what shows up. Remind yourself of that card. I sometimes will put that card out and leave it out where I can see it all day long to remind me that that was my angel's message to help me along my path for the day. So that's a way that you can start using your cards. I suggest daily guidance readings because they're so easy. And then after you've played with that for a little bit, even try giving a daily guidance for your friends. And then also start trying to do the other readings that they have suggested. So you could do a past, present, future type reading. You can do a year reading. You can do, just start expanding as to whatever's written in the book, their suggestions of the readings, and start doing it that way. I also wanted to let you know that you can get oracle cards on your telephone. They have apps where you can buy oracle cards. One of the places I like to go is Hay House and purchase their oracle cards that are apps, because I do really like a lot of Doreen Virtues. I like Stephen Farmer. I like Ted Andrews. I like a lot of different oracle cards. And so just kind of play with that. You can either search on your Apple Store, or you can go to Hay House and look at what they have for apps as well. And they kind of apply the same way. You just kind of shuffle them on your phone and pick them, and then the message is there written out for you to receive. So I hope that that helps you, because oracle cards are a beautiful tool to assist us along our way. All it's doing is helping us connect to our own intuition, getting us to trust and listen to our messages. Yes, we hear it in our own voice sometimes, but we got to trust that that's our higher self connecting with the angels or whatever guides you're using to receive guidance for your soul's path. So have fun using your cards. Use them to ask different questions and use them with friends. Play with them and start connecting with your own intuition. As you use your cards, your intuition will develop, and you will be able to expand and have even more fun with your cards. So I hope that that helps you. If you have any questions about doing oracle card readings, please comment below. I will get back to you as soon as I can. You can check out my website if you'd like to have an oracle card reading by me. When I do my readings, I do like to teach people how I'm doing my reading so that they can do their own reading. Everyone can do their own reading. You don't have to be intuitive, psychic, everybody can do a reading. And do I still go to other people for readings? You betcha. There's lots of times that, fog rolls in and you need some clarity and you're trying to do your own cards and it's just not coming clear. So sometimes it's nice to just go to somebody else and have that reading, because when you're receiving it from someone else, you can hear it differently. So with love and light guiding our paths, I look forward to you playing with your oracle cards, moving forward on your path with divine guidance, and having all the love that you can possibly imagine. From my heart to yours, I love you. Bye.